right. Thank you so much for still being there. Of course, we just came back from the news brief desk where we had Mary Joseph tell us some global tidbits there. And of course, we brought you tidbits. There's something to learn on Rise and Shine every day. But this particular conversation means a lot to us in the media sector. And we are looking at media and the freedom of speech, freedom of expression as well. Joining us to have this very important conversation is Rashid Olariwaju, who is an ace broadcaster and, of course, a journalist as well. He's reaching us via audio from Cross River State, Calabar. Thank you so much, Rashid. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Good morning, and thank you so much, Rashid, for joining us. Are we having problems joining with our guests very quickly? I think we can actually work on that and get our guests back on set. But yeah, hello, good morning, and thank you so much. Okay, fantastic. We couldn't hear you in the first place. Thank you so much for joining us, Rashid. Good morning. Hi, it's Calabar.
Yeah, good morning, Janice. Good morning, Janice. Good morning, Uyai. Good morning, Spectrum's family. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Asibom State.
I like the energy from your end this morning, Rashid. How is Calabar? How is Cross River State? You guys
Well,
say it's a season of sweetness.
Calabar is cool. The environment is where it is season of sweetness, as you are aware. The weather is cool. And it's a bright day here in Cross River State capital.
Okay, fantastic. Let's talk about the media space and, of course, the challenges facing us in recent times. Just to put perspective to this conversation, of course, recently we saw a private media station being sanctioned and fined 5 million naira for actually granting an interview to the Labour Party presidential candidate Dati Baba Ahmed, where he said that on May 29, it shouldn't be possible that the president-elect in the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be sworn in because constitutionally he did not meet the requirement of being a president-elect. And that is causing a lot of rift as we talk. And I just want you to, chip in your own opinion about what the media stands for and what the media is supposed to, the role the media is supposed to be playing in any government.
Well, like I always say when I want to discuss the media, my intro into any discussion that has to do with media is that you remove the media and you have no good governance. You remove the media and you have an unlawful society. You remove the media and you have a state of statelessness. Because the media actually is the soul of any society, any country, any nation. I mean, you just wake up one day, there is no internet to read newspaper online. All the TV stations are shut down. All the radio stations are shut down. You don't need anybody to tell you that there is something wrong somewhere. Perhaps war is looming. So the role of the media in any society cannot be overemphasized. And in this case, in a democratic environment, the media play a major role. As a matter of fact, in Nigeria, just as it is in Africa and other developed countries of the world, media have always been at the forefront, of getting things done positively in the interest of the people, in the interest of the masses. So the democracy we are enjoying in Nigeria today is as a result of the effort of the Nigerian media. We fought for it and we will continue to nurture it until we get to our destination. So that is just by the way. Straight to your question, Nigeria is a constitutional country. We are governed by the rule of law. If that is the case, any lawful government agencies department or parastatal uh, must be obeyed as long as they are established by the law. So the statement credited to Dati Baba Ahmed uh, is very unfortunate, to say the least. If truly you want to be vice president of Nigeria, if truly you consider Nigeria above any other entity in this country, if truly he knows that first of all he's a citizen of this country before he can claim to be anything else, then that statement is unfortunate. But that is the bad luck we have as a media practitioners, because oftentimes we try as much as possible. Janice, if you watch that.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Okay, I think
Okay, I think there's some kind of interference there for that particular call, but we hope that we can sort that out so that we get this conversation sorted out. But I know that there are a number of countries across the world that are suffering from bad, how do we put it now, bad, very bad in terms of press freedom. And just like Rashid has said, when you gag the press, you're scuttling democracy, because we are the fourth estate of the realm. Yes, we are here. Thank you so much for being there. Okay, just go ahead in your line of thought.
So, you will see that Seun try as much as possible to control his emotions. Seun tried as much as possible to let him know that he was on a global and national media, but he wouldn't listen. He wouldn't listen. I think what he should do is to tender a public apology to Nigerians first before the constituted authority. So, INEC has conducted the election. INEC is an established commission by the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Mr. Rashid, I think I would like to bring you back a little bit. Now, when you say that Dati Baba Ahmed should actually tender an apology, and he went too emotional, in trying to address the outcome of the presidential elections, I would like to, ask where exactly and what exactly he said that you think that he became too emotional. Now, whatever he said was that there is a constitutional requirement that must be met before someone could be declared as president-elect. And it was also backed by the Constitution. He also made mention of the section of the Constitution that says so. So where exactly did he act out of emotions to the point that, of course, Lai Mohammed has also tagged that particular comment treasonable?
It's not only Lai Mohammed. Lai Mohammed is just one out of thousands of Nigerians and beyond who have condemned that statement. That was the area I was going before you came in. I said INEC was an agency or commission of government. INEC conducted an election. INEC declared a winner, and INEC issued a certificate of return to the winner. Now, what you should do as a lawful citizen, that if you are not happy or you are not in line with what INEC has done, then the judiciary is there. That is why we have three arms of government. The judiciary is there for you to go, and I know that he and his principal have started the process of going to tribunal in ensuring that what they are saying was anomaly should be corrected. That is what should be done in a same country, not you. Now, specific to the question you asked. Baba Dati Ahmed said the president-elect should not be sworn in by the judiciary of this country on May 29. I mean, that is out of I'm sure he himself did not know when he was saying that. Let me believe that Ahmed will publicly tender apology to Nigerians and, of course, the constituted authority. So he even went further to state that uh, uh, if if the judiciary sworn in the president elect on May 29, that will be the end of democracy in Nigeria. Can you beat that? Where was that Baba Ahmed when people were fighting for this democracy that all of us are enjoying today? Like they always say, Awolowo said, and it's a popular quote today, the worst of democracy is better than the best of the military. In the military, you and I cannot be talking the way we are talking. In the military, you don't have rule of law. In the military, you don't have constituted court. In the military, you don't have fundamental human rights. The fact that Dati Baba Ahmed can even stand up and speak publicly is enough to give credit to democratic governance and democratic environment. For him to have said that if the president-elect is sworn in on May 29, then that will be the end of democracy in Nigeria. I mean, it was too much for him to have said that.
Okay.
And like I said, in a sane society, first of all is that he will come out openly again that, sorry, I didn't mean what I said. I apologize to Nigerians. I believe in this country. I believe in democracy. That is why I participated to be part of the democratic process. And whatever I may have said, please, I'm sorry.
Well, Dati Baba Ahmed has reiterated that he still stands on his comments as granted in that particular interview, and he's not retracting it because, I mean, he defends himself by the fact that there are constitutional, processes that give him the impetus to make that statement. He, right now, doesn't want to retract that. He still stands on it. But then, let's lean back a little bit on this conversation. We are looking at, media and press freedom in Nigeria. Something caught the attention of Nigerians in the course of this, that we have even seen civil society organizations call the attention of the federal government. For the first time in a very long time, it was a political party that raised brows of the things that Dati Baba Ahmed said in that particular interview and pushed for a sanction to be given to that media house. And within 5 days of pushing that particular petition, we saw the NBC move swiftly and attempt to slam and sanction that media house to the tune of 5 million naira. Now the question is, at what point is the NBC now ruled or governed by the whip and caprices of politicians? Because before that particular petition was given, the sneeze did not land. The NBC picked it up and ran with it. Are we looking at a political administration coming in that will stand on the neck of media freedom in this country?
Well, first of all, any attempt by any government, any administration, or any government for that matter, to gag the media in Nigeria, just as it is in any African country, cannot stand the test of the time. We have seen that in the past and it didn't work. In fact, in the heydays of the military tried it, but it did not work. So every facet and arms of government have their constitutional role. The media roles in society is well spelled out. And in Nigeria, we know the role we play. As they call us, the fourth estate of the realm. It means that after the executive, after the legislature, after the judiciary, the next is the media. So any attempt to drag the media will not work. But that is just by the way. To your questions, I don't even see, given the antecedents of the president-elect, I don't see him as someone or as a leader that will want to gag the media. It was Tinubu himself is the creation of the media. If you follow his antecedents, Tinubu came back into the country in the 90s. strictly enjoying, the Hope 93 at the time. And when June 12th election was annulled, it was the media that survived this country and those who struggle for this country at the time. And Tinubu was one of them. I'm talking of the days of Nadepo. So I don't see him as someone who does not believe in the media and its fundamental human right. Now, the content, we all know that every society is governed by the rule. Nigeria is governed by the rule. The media itself is governed by the rules and regulations. And we have our ethics well clearly spelled out in this rule. The NBC is the sole regulator of all broadcast stations in Nigeria. And the role they play include but not limited to sanction any media houses that is seen to have created a content that is inciting or that has planned in doing so. Now, in this case, it was an individual that did this, but using a platform of a broadcast station in disseminating this information we are talking about. In my view as a practitioner, I think beyond what Seun has done, I think what channels should have done immediately after that program should have been to issue a disclaimer like they normally do, like any other reputable media organization would have done, that all the content there from this interview was not from our organization, but from the person who appeared. Therefore,
Seun had
channels or any
emphasized
other
that
organization should not be held responsible
in his
for such
conversation with
things.
the guest. The presenter actually emphasized that to
That
him.
is what I said. He tried to do. I'm talking of the organization itself now.
Okay.
I'm talking of the organization itself.
Okay, Mr. Rashid.
About 8 times, the presenter tried to even control the guest. That this is a national TV, Mr. Babadati Ahmed, you have to announce that. But you could see someone whose mind had already made up in making such statement.
Mr.
Now
Rashid,
we need to
please,
be very careful here.
let's also come
because
back.
we are going into a transition.
Let's
We
come
need
back
to
a
be
bit.
very careful.
Okay, let's come back a bit to even the National Broadcast Corporation, NBC now, Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation. We had this interview carried out, right? And nothing was said about it. There was no issuance of any sanctions on this particular private establishment, even after the interview. Now, 5 days later, we had the presidential candidate and the president-elect under the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, petition the NBC and also asked that this private media station be sanctioned. And immediately, the embassy ran with it. So is it that the embassy was not following the conversations when this happened for it to call this private station to order and waited for a political party to bring up the issue before it saw the need to sanction this private organization? So the question now is the NBC even independent of its own?
And
I think
also,
it's
what investigations were made before the
Before the
slam was given?
sanctions.
Yes.
I think it is time for NBC. Good enough, we have NBC in each of every state of the federation. In Akwa Ibom, where you have your stations there's NBC representative
Of course,
there.
yes.
I think it is for NBC to now respond to this question. But in my own layman understanding, NBC is an organization representing the interests of all Nigerians. So any persons, group of persons, or even an organization can remind of, inform NBC on certain things that are not done well by certain organizations, certain media organizations. So it's not for NBC alone raise. It's just like police or EFCC or ICPT or any of the anti-graft agencies. Yes, the anti-graft agency, but somebody must put up a petition. Somebody must give them information. Somebody must say something has happened. They will now look into it and go through their law and see that okay, this information given, this petition given is actually against our rules of engagement, our code of ethics or not. So if the petition written by either a political party or an individual or a group of persons is a good petition that is against the rules of engagement of NBC, it wasn't in an error. Like I said, NBC should come out and explain this. I'm just giving my own insight as I know. And I think what I'm saying in all ramification should be correct. I think so. Because NBC cannot be everywhere. It is somebody somewhere that we record, take to NBC and attach a petition that so person has done this, so person has done this. Just like police. Police cannot be everywhere in the country. Somebody will give useful information to the law enforcement agency that crime has been committed at so place. EFCC cannot be everywhere in the country. Somebody somewhere will write a petition that some persons or group of persons has committed a financial crime. Please investigate and invite the person. They look into it. If it meets their desire as it's prescribed with their own rules of engagement, they will now invite the person. I think this is what, in my view, the NBC has done. See, don't let us try to be emotional here. Let's call a spade a spade. What Dati Baba Ahmed has done was an invitation to chaos. Like I was trying to say, we need to be very, very careful, especially in the days ahead. We are going into a transition election. And, in every transition election, there's always temptations, tensions, and arguments here and there. Because interest of the people, have been trampled upon. Because some certain persons have not gotten what they wanted. Hello, can every politician be like President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan in this country?
Now, Rashid, when you say we are trying to be, let's not be emotional. I like that you're saying let's not be emotional, because we're not being emotional here. And the case is that if Dati Ahmed came to a particular station and made comments, then sanctions should be tilted to Dati Ahmed and not necessarily the station that particular comment was made. Now, a lot of Nigerians, even under the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project. Please hold on, sir. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project is also suing the federal government and NBC for this particular action against the media.
We are communicating to the public.
Yes, sir.
And if we are communicating to the public, we need to educate the public, because whatever we are saying out here, the public are listening and are watching. Whatever we are saying is what they will take into considerations. If we are saying what you are saying, then it means you don't know the role of the NBC as the regulatory body of all the broadcast stations in this country. Like I said, any attempt to guard the media will be resisted all over the country.
But that's what a lot of Nigerians think is happening. That the media, that the government is making the media and NBC making the media walk on eggshells, which is not supposed to be so.
Hello, Janice. Hello, Uyai.
We're here with
you. The statement made by Dati Baba Ahmed, in your view, is it good or not?
We are not in the position to give a response to that.
Okay. Now, if it is good or it is not good, did he make that statement using his Facebook or Twitter? Even if it uses Twitter or Facebook, the regulatory agencies in the country has that so right to have you forgotten when the federal government banned Twitter in this country?
We're not
have you forgotten that? So there is always a vehicle to do anything you are doing. The vehicle for Dati Baba Ahmed, the vehicle he used, unfortunately, was a media platform, a reputable media platform he used in conveying this message. He did that in error. So what the regulatory body is saying is that you allow this person to continue this statement in your stations without a rebuttal. Therefore, you have gone against the ethics of the NBC, and it is liable for fine to the tune of 5 million naira. This is not the first time. Have you forgotten that AIT has been sanctioned in the past?
Of
Have you
course, yes.
forgotten that Daily Trust has been closed down in this country? Have you even forgotten that the same organization we are talking about here, Channels, has been shut down in this country as a result of that? So it's because of the situation we are. That's why I say we need to be very, very careful so that we will not take what is bad for what is good because of the situation and circumstances at hand now. So what Dati Baba Ahmed did was wrong. And if he still insisting that he stand by what he said, it is quite unfortunate. I mean, you heard all the cacophony.
Okay, I think network has gotten in the way, because I'd like to also ask Rashid if there is no room for people to express their concerns over, the just okay. All right, Rashid, I'd also like to ask as we try to wrap this up. Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
So you've heard from people, individuals or group of persons condemning this act. So including those who are even in support of his political party, they all condemn him. See, we have only one country. It's only when Nigeria survives that all of us can survive. It's only when we protect the sanctity of this country that we can begin to complain all the bad things that we say we did not want. But Nigeria first. The survival of this country is in the hands of you and I, and we must take everything possible in ensuring that this country survives. We are in a very delicate situation, and we must be very careful in ensuring that our sanctity, our
Unity.
our country is protected. This is just my message.
Okay.
Okay. At the end of the day, I would have also liked to ask if there is also a faction of this where we are looking at that people cannot express themselves and their grievances over the proceedings of the just concluded election, because it's more like we are pushing further to a place where we are saying everyone should just take the election the way it was and let's move forward. It feels like that is what the ruling party is asking for. Most politicians are asking for. Let's just forget all this and let's move on. The election has been done and dusted. Take it as you have seen it. Is that what we really want as a country, so that it looks like more than everywhere is at peace?
My opening statement when we started this discussion was that any attempt by anybody, whether ruling party or opposition party, whether individual or group of persons, whether an organization, government or private, to guard the media in this country will not work. It has happened before, it did not work. If it happens now, it will not work. So the issue of who is involved is not even an issue here. A couple of times I have heard you on air try to, moderate your guests if they want to go on extreme. That is the way to go. And if it's an issue that borders on national security, nothing stops you or your organization to say this is not our intention. We did not, whatever this our guests say, it's not from our organization, but from the individual that we invited. We hereby tender apology. It's as simple as that. So to express ourselves, that is our fundamental human right. Nobody can take it away from us. Even if Nigeria government want to take it from us, we still have international charter and cooperation. We have international protocol that support that. So nobody can take that one away from us. When the military junta in the heights of Abacha and in the heights of Babangida and Abacha tried to do that, the international community supported us, and that was why you had something like Radio Kudrat for those who fought for this democracy in the Nadeko days. So nobody can take that one from us. It's our right, and inalienable right. Nobody can take it from us. But even as we are saying that we shouldn't go extreme, the fact that you have right to kill doesn't mean that you should kill anyhow. The military or the security or the law enforcement agencies who are giving gun or arms to protect the country, they were giving that arm not to shoot aside or to kill anybody anyhow. They can only pull out that trigger when it becomes necessary and there are no other options. This is what we are saying. Nigeria belongs to all of us. We don't have another country. The fact that we are not doing well today does not mean that tomorrow will not be good. And that tomorrow can only be good if the country still survive. This is the message we are trying to pass.
All right. Thank you so much, Rashida Lariwaju. I like the fact that you landed on the note that Nigeria is the only country that we have, and we should be guided also by our utterances, whether we are government or political parties or anybody, you know, be guided by your utterances as well. Thank you so much, Rashida Lariwaju. It's always a pleasure having you on set. Yeah, that we have it, but I think at this point we'll just take a short breather, and when we come back, of course, we'll be looking at our different headlines on the national dailies this morning. So do stay tuned and don't move a muscle.